This episode of the Offroad Podcast is sponsored by Warren, Medical Gear Outfitters, and Colby Valve.
Offroad Podcast, episode 360. Return to the Alcan 5000.
Tonight, Aaron shoots his guns, Jeremy goes swimming, and Ben sleeps on the porch.
Welcome to the Offroad podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. Your hosts tonight are Jeremy, and my name is Ben, and our special guests, as always, Andy and Mercedes. And welcome to the show.
The Weekend Review is brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting to have a casualty on the trail? Check out medicalgearoutfitters.com to get straightened out. Medical Gear Outfitters has everything you need, whether you're going out for the day or traveling on a year-long expedition. Head over there to get off-road specific kits that meet all of your needs. And while you're there, make sure you use Off-Road Podcast for 10% off. I just want to comment on how apparently you guys are always our guests on the show.
Well, we're always happy to be here.
Well, and we got lots of stuff to talk about.
Well, Ben, let's kick it off with you. Did Sarah kick you out of the house?
No. So I went to Aaron's, and you know how he talks about how loud I snore. So not well, I do, but I went to Aaron's to hang out. I got him some Timberlands, or he got some Timberlands, and I brought them down to him. And then I've got Pete's cannon, so we shot that a few times. But we had a little problem with that.
Is that the one you were supposed to bring when we went snow camping?
Yes, and he couldn't find it. He found it. So the blanks that we got, they've got like extended necks on them, so we had to like redneck them and make them shorter.
Oh God, that sounds like it is
totally safe. I shot it to make sure it was safe. So we did that and launched some golf. Yeah, so we launched some tennis balls and some golf balls into his back 40. And then we hopped in the hot tub, and then I slept on his porch. And the reason I slept on his porch is because he has that Iron Man swag that we're trying out. And instead of sleeping in the yard where it was just drenching down rain, I was like, well, I'll sleep on the porch. And he's like, well, you can sleep. Or his wife is like, why don't you sleep in the living room? I'm like, because I want to try it outside so I can see how well it keeps insulated and all that. And it was like in the 50s that night, and I slept on top of my sleeping bag with a whoopee for a blanket, and I was warm.
I mean, you could have actually gotten a nice real world test in the torrential downpour.
I didn't feel like doing that
on a trip. You know, the time you find out that it's not very waterproof is not when you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
right.
We've already tested that. Aaron tested that on his own when he went camping with it.
But maybe you could have verified his results.
No, I'm good. And so I slept in that. It was pretty comfortable. I was actually, so one of the big tests I wanted to try was, can I take off my pants and put on my pants comfortably? Because it's not a tent you can stand up in. I've got my Gazelle. I can literally stand up, pull on my pants, no problem. How well can you do that in the tent? So I was like, all right, well, so I took off my pants in there and went to bed, woke up the next morning, was able to like pull them on, slide them on just fine. It was a little tight. I mean, I wouldn't want to be putting on a shirt in there, but you know. And being 6'4", I fit comfortably enough, and I was able to sleep on my side comfortably. The little mattress pad they have in there is pretty comfortable. I'd still probably get a double for myself and like sleep with my kids and maybe my wife in it, but it's not something I would do the single. I wouldn't try sleeping with anyone else in there.
How would you fit 5 people in?
No, a kid and myself.
Oh, I heard your kids and your wife.
Oh, you know, I could probably fit 2 of my boys in there with me because they're like little cuddlers. Like I wake up and no.
Challenge accepted.
It sounds like it sounds like the making of a sauna. I mean, it sounds like it would just be hot and
Or a good
muggy,
episode.
muggy, and just
Well, when I sleep, when I sleep with my youngest kid, he likes to he like scoots like almost under you. That's how close he gets to you. And that kid runs hot too. So it's like, oh, get away, you're hot. And you're shoving him off you, and he scoots right back. He's like, I'm cold. So yeah, it's one I would sleep with like one other kid in there on the single, but it wouldn't be the most comfortable thing. Good for cuddling if you're into that. So yeah, that's been. Would Jeremy have even slept on the porch?
I don't know what he means by that, so he's gonna have to clarify.
Well, oh yeah, and then Aaron went for yeah, you missed the hot tub part, but Aaron got some CBD seltzers. He was doing the drugs. It's just CBD. But they were fun. It was a fun time getting to hang out with Aaron. It's the first time I was actually able to go to his property, so I had a fun time.
Oh, cool.
Other than that, it's just been I got rid of the dumpster finally, so my shed is clean, my backyard's clean.
Your Forerunner's gone?
No. Oh, you weren't here that week. Never mind.
No,
Whatever.
I was. I heard about your dumpster, and
Yeah.
we asked about you parking your Forerunner in it.
Oh yeah, and I never tried.
No, you said you tried, but it wouldn't fit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been it. Getting ready to work on the trailer before I leave. Probably tomorrow. Because I'm going camping this weekend with my dad for Father's Day, and then we're taking off for Montana the following week. So I'll be here this next Monday, but the following week I'll be in Montana. So yeah, lots of fun stuff there. What about you, Jeremy?
Nothing in the off-road world. We took the family to Great Wolf Lodge for the weekend, or for the week.
That's a fun place to take your kids for a weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've been there like 3 times in this year in 2022. So
Kind of takes the glossiness off of it sometimes, right?
no, I mean, it was the kids just absolutely love it. And
Yeah.
it was, we asked Olivia's burn team when she could go and swim in a public pool, and they said, man, like June. We're like, great, we're holding you to that because we're going back to Great Wolf Lodge now. So it's kind of a good thing to be able to get her back into something fun.
Yeah. How'd she do? She have fun with it?
Oh, she had tons of fun. I mean, it was kind of sad because when we first told the kids we were going back to Great Wolf Lodge, we had kept saying, oh, because our 4-year-old kept asking when we were going to Great Wolf Lodge. We're like, oh, we can't go yet because May's burn, it has to heal. And so when we told the kids that we were going to Great Wolf Lodge, she started bawling and said, no, don't leave me. She was going to Great Wolf Lodge. And so when we told her she was going too, it was kind of a huge mood swing from very low to very excited. So
That's cool.
kind of a funny thing that happened. But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to get Ben to go to Tahuya on Sunday. So we'll see with that.
Oh, it's always a good time.
Yeah, trying to see if I can squeeze that in between camping. We'll see.
Oh, why not, right?
I think you can.
I probably can.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to check it out. So,
well, and I haven't tested the Forerunner out on some trails, like actual dirt and rock trails, since I put the 33s on there. So
you can go try. We can go do the new South Loop.
do you think my Forerunner would make it through that? I still don't have my skid plates on either.
Your
Yeah,
Forerunner.
you probably want to put skid plates on it, I would think, but
Yeah, you don't want to do right after the fact.
I mean, South Loop, it's definitely more challenging, but nothing that's really going to take out your oil pan or your transfer case.
So full send.
famous last words.
I mean,
Not from you.
have we seen me drive?
It'll make a really good video, and we have, or at least a story on the podcast when we have to talk about dragging out.
Yeah,
What?
it's just creating your own content.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to be that kind of content creator.
That's true.
Oh, some guys really love doing that.
there's that.
Yeah. So Andy, Mercedes, what about you guys?
Oh, let's see. This weekend I prepped our Mitsubishi Delica to go to the Northwest Overland Rally and then onto the BC Overland Rally. That'll be happening starting Northwest Overland Rally starts this Thursday and then ends the 19th. And then the BC Overland Rally starts the Thursday after that, runs through the Sunday after that. I don't remember the dates off the top of my head. So, yeah, so
that.
I'll be doing that. Mercedes will be doing another event. And then, yeah, so I'm getting ready for basically 2 weeks on the road for off-road events or, for those things.
And I'm gearing up for 2 weeks for an on-road event. So we're actually going exact opposite directions. I'm going to greatly miss everybody at the Northwest Overland and BC Overland Rally. Those are two of my most favorite rallies of entirety. But I will be one of the female drivers of an all-female student team on behalf of the RPM Foundation. I'm going to be rallying a 1966 Mustang Coupe for the Great Race on-road rally. It's a vintage car rally. And so there'll be about 150 plus cars of all different makes and models. And we'll be starting from Rhode Island and working our way down to North Dakota or over to North Dakota. Yeah. They're down a little bit over yonder, due west-ish. So we'll be doing that. It'll be 9 days, 10 states, and I think about 2,300 miles. So
Nice.
It'll be pretty cool. I'm very excited. There's a very talented team, a group of women, and I'm honored to be one of them.
That sounds like fun. And then the really cool thing with that is you get to drive a classic Mustang, not one of the ones that likes to plow through crowds. So
yeah, it is a classic Mustang, and it is very graciously loaned to us by the LeMay America's Auto Museum, right up actually by you in Tacoma. So it's not like I've ever rallied a museum car before, but I'm super excited.
Yeah, if you, for our listeners, if you've never been to, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, if you've never been to the LeMay Car Museum, it's a treat to go to. They have two now. They have the one by the Tacoma Dome, and then they have another one, which is in like Parkland. It's like the original one, and they have some cars there, which is a really cool spot to go to.
I didn't know they had two.
Didn't know that either. I've only been to the one by the Tacoma Dome, and it's awesome. Like Ben was saying, if you ever get a chance to go, it's there's some pretty awesome cars there.
Oh, very neat.
I haven't been to the new one. I've been to the old one, and it was quite the treat. And depending upon you're going into Montana. Are you going, if you guys get a chance? What is it? The old Montana State Prison. Deer Lodge, they have a car museum there.
Oh, neat.
That's really cool too.
Well, that'll end up having to be a different trip. I know, at least for me, it'll be Rhode Island all the way to North Dakota. So the rally won't make it quite into Montana, but it's cool to know. Yeah. I'm sure that there are all these different car museums everywhere that I'm not familiar with. But LeMay, I mean, gosh, if you're from the Pacific Northwest, LeMay is it. So to have that tie-in and to be rallying on behalf of the RPM Foundation, which that group is a nonprofit organization, and they work with restorative preservation and mentorship, all for people, young students that are trying to get into the automotive trades for that type of work. So with my dad, being a welder, fabricator, and blacksmith, coming in from Germany and building their life here, my mother and my father both coming over, it's something that's near and dear to my heart. So I'm excited to be able to help pay it forward and then learn from the women as well. So it's a two-way street.
Yep.
See what you did there.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
So I might as well get this out of the way now. I've heard that you guys are now card-carrying members of a vape sponsorship and Birkenstocks crowd.
Nope.
I'm glad you bring that up. Yes, we
get it out of the way.
There's a couple of things. So first of all, we actually did buy a new Crosstrek. We needed just an all-wheel drive vehicle that we could drive cross country when we needed to. Our 30-year-old JDM four-wheel drives with their low-range transfer cases and 33-inch wheels and diesel engines and all that stuff are all fantastic, but don't want to have to deal with it or don't want to have to rely on it when you have elderly family and having to go cross country to see them for sometimes. And
among other things,
we needed
too.
something.
Even eccentric car owners like us need a reliable day-to-day newer car. We can put a ton of miles on it, not have to worry about it.
Right.
All-wheel drive system's awesome in Subarus. We've owned multiple Subarus before. So, yeah, we just took receipt of it yesterday. So, I'll put it with a 6-speed manual transmission.
Yeah, we got the manual, and then we'll do some things to it.
It won't stay stock long.
Like somebody said, well, are you what color methods are you getting? Yeah, okay. Are you going white letters or white letters out or in? Like, okay, yeah. Get it all. Yeah, we're not looking for vape sponsorship.
No.
Anyway,
they're just great cars.
I do enjoy granola, but anyway.
Well, you can just, instead of going for the Birkenstocks, just go Crocs and socks.
Crocs and socks. Yeah, and of course there's of course the 4-wheel drive and then 2-wheel drive with the heel strap. So
yes, gotta have those. Well, I'm excited. It's not very often you hear about the manual transmission vehicles, and it's cool to hear that Subaru still does a manual transmission.
Mm-hmm.
So does it have flappy paddle shifters too?
No. It's just a real real stick shift with the 6 forward speeds and reverse, and it's
and a clutch.
If you want to, we're kind of diehard manual transmission drivers, and if you want all-wheel drive and a manual transmission and don't want to spend $45,000 to plus $1,000 on it, you sort of the Crosstrek is that last bastion of all-wheel drive and manual transmission affordability. So when you have one option, you sort of go with that option.
That's a good option.
I mean, the off-road podcasts have long been a believer in the Crosstrek.
Yeah.
Considering that's what our family car is.
Well, it's funny. We just did the our crossover shootout episode, and I believe was it the Subaru Forester?
It was the Outback, I think.
Yep. No, it was the Forester with the wild.
Oh, the
Wilderness package had one of like the best stock clearances on the market, and it's like, well, there you go. That kind of gives you an idea of why.
Not to jump ahead, so I won't too much, but in the main topic, I think we'll talk about what we're actually taking on the Alcan 5000 and all 9.5 inches of ground clearance it has.
Stock ground clearance. Stock.
Yeah.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month.
You see that there? See that right there? That's a future patch. I'm so looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I can't wait to get that.
Yep. And then our now I can't find it for some reason. I lost it on my desktop. I've got the other patch hidden somewhere. With our we're just waiting for the proofs to come back, and the Lumen Locker switch will be up for sale along with the Off-Road Podcast patch. So we're looking forward to those.
And the Lumen Lockers glow in the dark.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Best part.
Yeah. I can't remember who asked that question.
I think it was Coy.
It was Coy? Okay. Yeah. Well,
does it glow in the dark? Yes.
It does now. Yeah. So yeah, it's we're pretty stoked for all of our patches and stuff to get rolling. It's been a long time coming. It's been worth the effort. So
yep, absolutely. Can't wait to get them.
Yep, and that's all because of Patriot Patch.
I can't wait to get them on my headliner, but no headliner. So
we can
that could be an issue.
It's a Jeep thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Patriot Patch is the ones that's making those for us. So it's why I'm mentioning it now in the Patriot Patch ad spot. So yeah.
Have tire troubles ever left you deflated? Colby Valve has got you covered. Ever have a valve stem leak? Colby Valve makes reusable and easily replaceable valve stems that don't require you to remove your tire from the wheel. They work with your off-road rig, ATV, side-by-side, commuter vehicle, or even your tractor. Never be left stranded again because of a busted valve stem. They also have a tire repair kit for those punctures that keep you away from doing your favorite thing, wheeling. Make sure to check out colbyvalve.com or ask for them at your local off-road products store.
So, funny thing, didn't plan this, but I am wearing my Colby Valve t-shirt.
Saw that.
Nice.
Yeah, I got that a little while ago from David, and I was like, and I wear it from time to time, and I was like, hey, look at that. I've got it on today. Perfect timing.
So first up in the news, coming from the National Park Service, we'll just kind of go with the last update, but Yellowstone has been having some problems with some flooding and some washed out roads, as you can, if you're watching on YouTube,
Whoa.
get some helicopter footage of. And currently all entrances to the Yellowstone National Park are closed, and they expect them to at least be closed Tuesday and Wednesday, June 14 and 15. And
Wow.
so we'll see how quickly they can recover from the amount of flooding that they're having, but it's definitely washed out the road in multiple spots.
Yeah, the video we're watching here on the live show is from the that's the north entrance coming in from Montana. So
wow.
Yeah, and I've been through that entrance. It's an amazing entrance with all those views, and you're watching it all flooded out. So
wow, that's incredible. For those of you who are watching it live, I mean, who aren't watching it live, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's that road is washed out in multiple sections. There's even, it looked like, you can see there's actually looks like a vehicle that got stuck out there.
Yeah, it looks like it's a truck.
Yeah,
it could possibly be a tractor. Like they got past the first spot, and then another spot washed out, and then they were stuck. They couldn't go forward, couldn't go backwards.
Wow, that is something else. I didn't even know they were going through this right now. That's something else.
I know we're having a lot of flooding up by us. I mean, the rivers are really, really high, but yeah, it deluged so hard at my house. Actually, you were 15 minutes south, but at our house, it deluged so bad. I thought I was going to have to bail our little back. We've got a little dog run or walkway area that abuts up to a fence in the next neighbor. And we haven't seen that kind of rain and that kind of accumulation, but the ground by us here in Oregon is so waterlogged. Wow.
Yeah. Don't underestimate the power of water.
No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding.
It will find the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Much like myself.
So yeah, that's crazy. Well, our next story here is from Dirtfish, and it's changes to the Dakar Rally. They're doing a shorter 70% route. They're adding digital maps to be more green. They're getting ready for some options for electric, biofuel, and hydrogen vehicles. Along with they're removing the neutralization zones. And what it is it's like a speed controlled section where people can take breaks, make minor repairs, take on food, but they're removing those zones, and then that way there's less stoppage. They had one of the drivers, he sped through that zone, so he got a penalty, and I think it kind of cost him the race. So in 2001, so reducing those will reduce penalties. So it'll be interesting to see what it does. The Dakar's one I've really wanted to watch. Never really had time to really pay attention to it as it's happening. I
have friends that have raced it.
Yeah,
Women.
I've heard people racing it, and it's like, man, that sounds so epic. And so it'll be interesting to see what it does, because there's some really cool vehicles that race in the Dakar. So yeah.
Yeah, I think with all sports, including motorsports, you gotta keep innovating even the the rules of the events, just because there's always a better way to do things. So
well, yeah, you look at King of the Hammers, almost every year there's rule changes, and then or modifications or different classes, and they've been doing that to the Baja 1000 as well. So it'll be it's always cool to see how they change them, and then yeah.
Absolutely. And finally, in tonight's news, Andy beats his wife. Hold on. In writing articles.
And I knew what was coming. That's why I was clapping, because it was a writing articles bit. So
yes. So we just have to say that our Andy, he got he was the award recipient for the best news article for his article on registration revoked, which was about them revoking registration for JDM vehicles. So something that's very near and dear to Andy and Mercedes' hearts. So we're happy to see that that he was able to pull off that amazing victory over
his wife.
I'm still a finalist. Hey, I'm still happy. I'm still happy.
There were two.
It was very well deserved on his part.
So the award was through the Motor Press Guild, MPG, and best news article, and it was for registration revoked, which was published on Gear Junkie, and but Mercedes was one of the finalists as well, with a piece on women in automotive in the New York Times as well, and but yeah, I'm very proud and humbled to have beat my wife. So, and
as you should this time, as you should have.
Okay. No, honestly, yeah, completely honestly, super humbled, super proud, and honored to have won that award. So very, very, very pleased and glad that the deregistration of the Mitsubishi Delicas in Maine is still taking center stage and is a worthwhile topic that still needs to get resolved. So
that's excellent. And both those articles are will be in the show notes. So if you want to read those articles, there's links to them in those articles for both Mercedes and Andy's stories.
Awesome. Make sure to put his on the top.
Oh, thank you.
It is. I the way I linked it was I have the awards for, and it has Andy's and then the other guys and then yours.
Perfect.
But I didn't get his article. I was too lazy for that.
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
So, as you guys might have been able to guess from the title of the episode, it's the return to the Alcan 5000. And so are you returning this winter? When are you guys returning?
No, we're returning for the summer one, thank God.
Oh, come on. I like the winter one.
Well, the winter one was amazing, but the summer one we won't have to worry about potentially freezing to death. So
that's true.
Basically, the way the Alcan 5000, and I guess I should back up for anybody who isn't familiar with it. The Alcan 5000 is a road rally that starts in Kirkland, Washington, and then goes 5,000 miles to somewhere else. The 2021 was a winter rally, and it went all the way up to Tuktoyaktuk. We took our JDM turbo diesel Mitsubishi Pajero 4-wheel drive on that event. And then this year, they do it every 2 years. They do it like the Olympics. So 2020 was a winter. 2022 will be summer. 2024 will be winter again. So this year is over 5,000 miles, starting in Kirkland, Washington, and then going as far north as Dawson City. And then it will dip into Alaska here and there, and I believe into, is it
Skagway? Yeah, I think
Skagway.
Let's see, some of the places that we're going to hit. There's Whitehorse, there's Dawson City. These are not in order. Telegraph Creek, Quesnel, Yellowknife, and then we eventually finish in Jasper,
right,
in Alberta.
Yeah, and so this is it is a road rally, meaning it is on roads, but we're told around 30% of it is actually going to be off pavement. So we're
dirt
looking
and gravel, baby.
Yeah, we're looking at like 1,500 miles of dirt and gravel. So
at least,
yeah. So
if you think about that, though, 1,500 miles, not 30.
It's like the entire Rebelle rally.
It is. It literally is. Well, that one's mostly off-road too. But I mean, if you think about it, this isn't just I'm going to do this in 2 days. There's over 5,000 miles that happens in 10 days. And a lot of it is going to be gravel and pavement. And it's not great roads up there. I mean, there's, we hear that the summer version, I know you were just talking about this lately, the summer version can be even that much more perilous to tires and to suspension and things because you don't have the cush of the snow and the ice that's kind of flattening out some of the surfaces.
Right.
Well, what are you guys going to be taking on this one? Another JDM vehicle?
No. This year we're actually we're partnering with Subaru of America, and we'll be driving their Outback Wilderness. So they're providing the vehicle and going to put some Subaru livery on it and so on, and then
a couple of key aftermarket things.
Yeah. So
you guys don't have to build it yourselves?
Thank God, no. So not this time. I don't have to rebuild the entire car in my driveway like I did with our Pajero before we left, down to the needle bearings and stuff. And so this year they will deliver it to us. It will have some of their factory Thule roof rack on it,
and the skid plates and some other protection pieces.
Right.
That is all OE.
Right. And then we will install a few aftermarket upgrades just to help with performance and anything like that. So we'll be running a set of Max Trax minis on the rack just in case we were to have an off or somebody else were to go off course.
Yeah, the recovery boards.
We can deploy the Max Trax. We'll probably have some storage boxes on the roof for extra gear.
Might have a jerry can, might not.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a 18.5 gallon tank. Mm-hmm. The range is over 400 miles. We expect to probably get about 400 miles of tank on because of the gravel aspect of it. And then we'll have a Rally Innovations light bar on the front with light bracket. And then Light Force lights. And, we'll put like a Factor 55 hitch link in the rear receiver and a shackle in case we need to get tugged out, which I hope we don't have to.
And as far as interior, we're going to be using Scosche mounts, so windshield or dash mounts and things like that for our radios. We need to have a smartphone with the Ricta Rally app that we're going to be running, so it'll be computerized this year. But then we also need to have communications for emergency purposes, and then also our buddy team. So the Rally typically buddies up with a couple cars, and then actually the summer version has motos too, so motorcycles. So they buddy up maybe 2, 3, 4 teams together just to always check in case somebody has mechanical failure, runs out of fuel, has a major other issue, that everybody's together and nobody's left behind. So we're going to be working with a Scosche mounts to be able to get all that set up straight away.
That's cool that they have you teamed up like that just as a safety precaution.
Yes.
It saves having to figure out extra people to have out there trying to watch you all and
absolutely. It's definitely more critical, we're told, in the winter rallies just because of that
you don't want to die.
Negative 20, negative 40. We saw negative 40 a couple of times while we were up there. And if you have a engine failure or something like that, those temperatures are going to drop. I mean, even we would be driving along and you'd come to a stop and you just start, as you stopped and just started idling, you could watch the engine temperature just drop.
I forgot about that.
I mean, we had been driving for like 8.5 hours and we get to Dawson City for some ice racing on the McKenzie River. And as we sat there and waited for our turn to go, the engine temperature just starts falling, even with the motor running and everything, engine running. It was just something else. So
is my heater not working so well?
Yes,
yeah, exactly. That's another thing.
Exactly.
And thank goodness we have the awesome Scheelman seats. So Scheelman's got their German-made heated seats, and so we were able to just flip it on medium or high and be able to keep our rumps nice and roasted and our bodies nice and warm. But and tell them also when what highway was that where we were like maybe 150 miles from the nearest any bit of civilization?
Klondike.
Was it the Klondike that had a dozer? And it was
that was the Dempster.
Dusk or dawn, I can't remember. It was mostly dark.
Dusk.
And we saw just enough, and there's this dozer literally 100 yards off the road, just sitting there fully idle, just idling away.
Steam
and the
coming
steam coming out,
out,
and there was not a soul for like 150 miles.
They just can't turn them off.
They can't shut it off.
So I think the worst hazard we'll probably run into is mosquitoes on this one. Although the Alcan 5000 rally group has been posting photos of the pre-running that they've been doing, and it's like they have so many photos of bears, it's incredible. Yeah. So I'm like, I was worried about, like, my number one goal is to finish the Alcan 5000. Now it's going to be to make sure not to get eaten by a bear, I think. So
I will say one of your road hazards will be a moose.
Oh yeah. We've seen plenty of them in the winter.
I've heard and seen, watching TV, lots of the horror stories of like people hitting a moose, and if you hit a moose at a high rate of speed, it's not going to fly over your vehicle. It'll generally land in your lap.
Yeah, right. Bad. Definitely want to avoid the moose, and like she said, we saw plenty of moose up in Canada and Alaska.
Oh, tons of them, and we also saw caribou too. So, there's a lot of wildlife, but, we're really excited. We haven't done the summer version. This is our only second Alcan 5000 rally. We're doing it together again as a husband and wife team. But now with the Subaru Wilderness, not only do we have added ground clearance and departure and approach angles and things like that, we've got a car that's fast. It's turbocharged. Yay. So we're not going to be putting like with our Pajero.
Yeah, it's only 160 horsepower more than our Pajero was. So.
It's what, 260 horsepower and 277 foot-pounds of torque, I think.
I think that's right.
So it's
9.5 inches of ground clearance. So
yeah,
when we did the Alcan 5000 winter rally, we really kind of, as we were like sitting in the parking lot or getting passed by everybody, we realized that really the ultimate sort of road rally vehicle for these kind of long distance mixed condition endurance rallies is something with power that's comfortable and either all-wheel or four-wheel drive, or full-time four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, that you don't have to worry about putting it in and out of four-wheel drive. Like our Pajero has full-time all-wheel drive available. So it actually has a selectable transfer case where it's two-wheel drive, full-time all-wheel drive with the lock center differential, and then low range. And 90% of the time we were in that high range open diff. And so it has a viscous coupler. It acts kind of like an all-wheel drive system. But there were a couple of people that had like turbocharged Subaru Foresters or Porsche Macans, or honestly, even the guys in the Jeep Wranglers. They had plenty of power, good tires, and they could cruise at good speeds, even on the ice. And we stuck around 65, 70 miles an hour.
But you also have to realize what we had, right? We had a 1991 Mitsubishi Pajero right-hand drive diesel that's A, never been sold in the States. B, we had a huge roam box full of parts and pieces and things like that, because a lot of parts you couldn't even get if we broke down.
Yeah.
So we did it conservatively, knowing that in transit speeds, you're still supposed to be at or below speed, even though there's time, speed, distance sections of the rally. There's still then several hundred miles of a transit to get to the next.
Yeah, you'll never
speed, distance section.
You'll never have to exceed the speed limit. Like, it's all a road rally. We're not closed. There's not closed roads or anything. But But I think the Wilderness will be, it's got all the modern amenities. It's got,
it'll be so cush.
It's got heated seats, and not that we're going to need that in July or in August and September, but it should be pretty posh compared to our old 91 Mitsubishi.
You might need them in the morning just to warm up the seats.
Gosh,
I'm delicate, so.
Hey Ben, I think we need to reach out to Subaru and see if they can ship them the Subaru in pieces, so that way.
Hey, we need you guys to challenge them just a little more.
Yeah, make them put it all together before.
Yeah, it's like, by the way, it needs a front end rebuild.
Well, not that. We'll be doing the install. We'll be putting on the light bar brackets or the little tube steel light bar brackets and the lights and some of the other things. But that's very minimal compared to the awesome job Andy did with the Pajero.
Well, I'm picturing everything: the transmission, the engine.
No,
everything's just shipped in separate crates.
How about no?
Is there like a tire sponsor you guys have to use this year or anything?
Wasn't
it Nitto for the winter one?
No, I don't believe they're using Nitto anymore. But the Outback is going to come with the Yokohama Geolander G015s.
Oh, you're a fan, aren't you?
I am a fan. I had those on a Mitsubishi Delica.
They're a good tire.
I was very happy with them. A very, very good tire. So I'm totally stoked to have those as the OE choice. So,
and they also have a full size spare with the Outback
Yeah.
Wilderness. So we've got obviously 4 rolling rubber. That's awesome. We've got the full size spare, and then we've got an ARB tire patch kit that we're going to bring along with us too.
Yeah,
And we might bring our air compressor too. We've got an ARB single portable air compressor that we use with all of our vehicles. I don't know if we'll bring that or not, but it's something that
well, we should have the room this year.
Yeah, I know we'll have room. Well, plenty of room. We're so excited. But yeah, so we might bring that as well, just in case. Again, we pack to help other people and to also help ourselves. And everybody in the rally, it's a family, right? Everybody stops to help each other. So It doesn't matter if you're a classic mini that's pulled off the road, or if you're a huge 4x4 or whatever it is. If there's anybody that needs help, we usually have communications, or we do like a thumbs up and slow down and make sure as you go along, if they give you a thumbs up back, or a head nod and whatnot, then they're okay. Then you can keep on going. So everybody just watches out for each other.
Yeah. It's all about having fun, right?
It is about having
It
fun.
is.
I was just taking a quick peek here at some of the other vehicles. Like, so there will be a Raptor. There's a Gladiator, a couple of Subarus. We got a Power Wagon, Lexus GX470,
Mustang,
another Gladiator, Grand Cherokee, another Wrangler, another Raptor, another Outback, F-150, 95 F-150. That one looks cool. I've seen it's kind of retro looking. Silverado, Ram 2500, another Raptor, and then there's a bunch of motorcycles. So
a bunch of adventure bikes.
So
yeah, I was looking through like what it costs and all that. I was like, man, that sounds like one of those once in a lifetime things. And here you guys are doing it twice in a lifetime.
We are doing it twice. I mean,
different seasons, but still, it's
completely different experience too. So
it really was. Doing the winter one. I probably speak for Mercedes too. Is like it was a life-changing event. It really was. Like, you find yourself.
Geez,
what's that?
I said you beat her and you speak for her. Geez.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to wait until he was done before I started talking.
Domestic violence, just so anybody knows. But I will say the Alcan thing, like you find yourself, you're in the middle of this amazing scenery above the Arctic Circle, and you just kind of, if you can take the moment to just live in the moment just for 30 seconds, you just go, I cannot believe I'm freaking here. Like, I'm above the Arctic Circle. The sun is rising. It looks like something out of a painting. And,
it's the lightest pastels you could ever think of for sunrise.
It does cost money. I had to take a lot of time off of work to do it, which was, I returned to a, scary full inbox. But life's short, right? We try to prioritize. So try to prioritize the amazing things in life when you can.
I'll send you a handful of emails while you're gone.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
And don't do one word per email, then the next word per the next email.
Don't give many ideas.
I was going to say, I'm giving you some ideas. So I think
yours will be full too.
Yeah. There you go. I think for Andy and me, we have a lot of bucket lists, and some of those bucket list items were already achieved up there. And there were some things that we achieved up there that we had no idea we were going to even achieve. One of the coolest things I think that I'd witnessed, experiencing it with you, was crossing the Arctic Circle 4 times in 2 countries in 3.5 days. Now think about that. 4 times, 2 separate countries in 3.5 days. The Arctic Circle. So it's like, whoa, where the heck are we going? And then to see the Arctic Ocean and, to see all of the wildlife that we saw and just have a good, challenging, fun, for the most part, stress-free time up there. I mean, anytime that you're rallying, especially if road conditions really deteriorate too, that makes it extra challenging and stressful. And you got to be very careful and pointed with what you're doing. But, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, some of those are the same spots you stopped before, correct?
That is correct. So for instance, we are going to Dawson City. We stayed in Dawson City one night, did the old sourdough cocktail thing up there.
Quinnell, we're going through again.
Yep.
but I think almost everything else for this year is new as of for us.
Yeah, they will.
A different route.
They will dip into that kind of little coastal part of Alaska.
Yeah, for Skagway, I think.
Yeah, and I think I'm not sure if we got a Hydra or not, but I thought we stopped in at Hydra. I could be wrong. But we'll go into Alberta. We didn't go into Alberta, and then we'll finish at Jasper. And we tried to get to Jasper one year actually for a wedding anniversary.
10-year wedding anniversary. Take a big road trip.
We got to Jasper at the north and Banff at the south. And we were in Banff and going to go do the Icefields Parkway, which is consistently ranked as one of the most amazing drives in the world. And so we got to it was July, and we got to the entrance of it. And there's a big like winter road condition sign, and it says closed. And I thought, well, that can't be right. It's July.
There's a little check-in hut.
Yeah. Like we pull up to the little hut, and the woman, oh, hello, bonjour. Where are you headed? Well, Jasper. And they said, oh, not today. Not today. There's a fire that's closed the road. And I thought, oh, my God, I drove all the way up here to do this. And anyway, long story short, we ended up having to take a 6-hour detour and ended up in Kamloops. So we were hoping to take our own time and do the Icefields Parkway from Jasper down to Banff on the way home.
On the way home, yeah.
So are you guys going to drive back this time?
Yes. Last time we shipped the vehicle from Anchorage, we didn't drive from Anchorage back to Portland. So this time we will drive from Jasper back to Portland. It should be a day and a half, 2-day drive.
Yep.
As long as we don't have any washouts like in Yellowstone.
No.
So, but yeah, it should be we've done the drive from Banff to Portland before. We went through Glacier National Park and did the Going to the Sun Highway and whatnot in Montana, which is amazing. I don't care if you're in a 4-wheel drive or a motorcycle or you're on a bicycle.
Any
it's
kind
amazing.
Of wheels.
But yeah, we'll drive back this year.
And it looks like somebody had asked if there are any Nissans in the rally this year. I don't think so, but we'll check for you. The website for the Alcan rally is www.alcan5000.com. And there is an entrance list that you can take a look at and see what it is.
I'm not seeing any Nissans this year. No, there is some of the more interesting vehicles. 69 Austin Mini Cooper, like a mini, an old one. There's a Leland Australia van, which I'm not even 100% sure. It's a 1973 Leland. Oh, it's like a mini also.
Cool.
And then, actually there's 3 vintage minis, which is kind of neat. Somebody's doing it in I don't know what a Ford Interceptor utility is. I don't know if that's an Explorer or what that is, but we've got a couple of Porsche Cayennes, Audi 5000 for the retro 80s fans, and that 95 F-150. I've seen photos of it. It's pretty awesome. It's very 90s. It's a good thing. So
yeah,
even a Tacoma.
Yeah.
Sounds like someone's going to have to sign up with a Nissan if somebody wants a Nissan.
Yeah, I think a Nissan. I think a Nissan.
Nissan Xterra would do really good.
There was an Xterra on the last one. It was a gentleman and his driving partner from. They were from Georgia.
We pulled them out of the snow.
We did pull them out of the ditch once.
No, but then other people pulled us out. I swear. I think
you're not supposed to tell them that.
Almost everybody. Kidding. Oh, come on. Almost okay, you can talk about how you winched yourself at the Arctic Circle, but I'll leave that one for you to tell. But almost everybody ditch dove at least once because, I mean, if you're doing 5,000 miles, almost all of it on snow and ice racing and doing ice roads, like the legitimate ice road truckers road up to Aklavik or Klavik. I never remember how to say it. But it's you'll ditch dive for sure. Make Andy and Mercedes put together their Alcan Subaru. Oh no!
Oh no!
Don't.
Whoa.
No.
Wait a minute. One person has signed it. Oh no, that must have been you. Anyway.
No.
Oh God! Can you imagine just
nightmares.
like a shipping container full of car parts that arrives? Like, oh no, this is the car. You had to build it yourself.
How about container dollar bills to help us with the fuel because we have to pay for the fuel.
Oh yeah, we
can start a GoFundMe for the fuel.
We will have to pay for fuel, Canadian fuel. We were told that the Outback Wilderness will, despite being a turbocharged 2.4 liter boxer engine, will run on 87 octane, which is I'm thankful for that. If it doesn't offer the
fuel prices right now, geez.
Oh my gosh, I'm not sure what the prices in middle of nowhere Canada are going to be, but I'm going to guess they're expensive.
Let's just hope our credit card won't melt.
Yeah, for real. So
we thought it was bad with the Pajero in 2020, right before COVID, but
you know, like we
only live once.
Well, we only live once. Not number one. Number two, like we haven't done a whole heck of a lot of major travel since COVID. I mean, we've taken one major vacation for like 7 days, but we stayed with family. We used their car, you know, all that stuff. So we've been saving up for this. You know, we've been planning for this since we completed the 2020 version. We knew what to expect. We knew how much to save. We didn't expect fuel prices to be what they are, but it is what it is. And you know, I mean,
hopefully, when we come back from this rally, the world wouldn't have changed into something totally crazy. It's when we think of when we finished the rally in 2020. We finished March 10th, I think was the end of the actual rally. That was right when COVID just started shutting everything down. To think that Andy and myself, our last bit of normalcy was rallying a right-hand drive diesel from 1991 up to the Arctic in the middle of winter over a 5,000-mile rally, and then coming back and literally having COVID just go crazy.
Yeah.
So we're hoping this year, doing the rally, coming back with Subaru, not going to be any issues.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
Hoping for no, like, you know, donkeypox outbreak or something. I don't know. I just made that up. There's no such thing as donkeypox. So
Really?
Well,
yeah. Great.
And if it actually happens, the government is going to have a lot of questions for you.
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke. Anyway, so we'll see. But somebody had asked us actually earlier today. They're like, "Oh, I suppose you're staying at like 5-star resorts on the way up there." Like, yeah, and they like, "Oh yeah, you'll probably have like big dinners and stuff." And if it's anything like it was in 2020, which I assume it is, you stay at
very
what's
quaint
there. So
hotels.
Some of them are going to be very quaint, small little places. Some of them will be a bigger hotel because it's the only thing in town. And then you're typically on your own for dinners and pretty much everything else, to be honest. Yeah. Every now and then they'll have a breakfast, like 2 or 3 out of the 10 days they'll have a breakfast at one of the hotels. But I use hotel sparingly.
Motel.
Usually it's more like a motel.
And it might have shag carpeting. It might have interior paneling from the 1972 that might have never been refreshed. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so. but that's all right.
It's all
part of it.
It sounds like.
What's that?
It sounds like that's all part of the experience, right?
Well, yeah,
it's a huge part of the experience.
And what I found out about what we found out about the 2020 version was the camaraderie that comes along with something like this. Like, there's a bunch of people that are nuts enough to do this every couple of years, and you find yourself amongst, jokingly say, "Welcome to the cult." We're all here. So we do this, and they're long days. At least with this one, that time of year should still be pretty light, pretty late. Yeah. Whereas the Alcan 5000, it would get dark around like 4:00.
When the winter version.
And I'm sorry. Yes, the winter one. So we first of all, the 2020 version, we were late to register, so we were one of the last people. So they stage you. So the first car would be out at 8:01. Right. And then car number 2 is out at 8:02 and car number 3, 8:03. Well, we were car 39. So we 40, were every day 40, we were 39 minutes behind the first car out.
And we were slow.
And we were a slow vehicle that wasn't going, too much over the speed limit just because we couldn't. So this time we're starting like 25th, I think.
25 now.
Yeah, mid pack. We'll have a car that can keep up with other people.
Very comfortable, nice car.
Hopefully we don't miss dinner like we did many a times on the winter one, where you roll in at 9:00 at night. All the restaurants are closed and you ate beef jerky and granola bars for dinner.
Well, and most of the other rallies are like 2 drinks in or whatever, just, talking about their day. They're all literally walking to their hotel room, and we have to haul in beer. And we just get there and we're like, well, all right, it's another Mountain House freeze-dried meal for us tonight. So
are the hotels provided with your entrance fee?
They are,
They
yeah.
are, yeah.
So I think the first one when you leave or when you start the rally is not, but then the rest of them are already figured out. The room blocks are already there. So when you get there, they already have your names and everything, which is very convenient. It's a nice part.
That is convenient. That I was like, I don't remember that asking that question last time, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the cost and all that. I mean, if you think about that involved in the cost, it's actually not terrible.
No, not at all.
It's actually for. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was just going to say the rally itself, I think, so this year was 3,300. In 2020, I want to say was 3,000 or 3,100. And that includes pretty much all of your hotel rooms. So if you think about that, it's actually a really, really cost competitive and efficient rally. There are other rallies that are out there that are a lot more expensive, that are a completely different segment of rally with its own challenges and awards. But I think as far as the Alcan, this rally was started by Jerry Hines in 1983 or 1984, and it's been running ever since, just like the Olympics every other year. So I think it's very very good cost wise.
You guys need to get your vehicle updated because it still says TBA on the Alcan.
Yeah, we need to.
We do.
I was going to tell you that today that we need to have them.
We do,
because we weren't sure what we were doing. We weren't sure if we were going to take the Pajero again, if we were going to take our little Toyota and put some rally tires on it and do it there, or in the opportunity, we thought, well, let's talk to some of the OEMs, and we're fortunate enough to know a few people at Subaru of America, and we reached out to them. So
well, and we've got a pretty long-standing relationship with Subaru of America. I mean, not only have we owned a couple of different Subarus, and now own again a Subaru in our life, and we've also reviewed many of their vehicles. We've covered them with Oregon Trail Rally on multiple different occasions. When they come through town and they do their rallies, like with Travis Pastrana or David Higgins, Bucky Lasik, and those guys. Talking too fast, but it's really interesting from the rally aspect, knowing them from the Subaru Motorsport side of things, Vermont Racing, but then doing this kind of snowballing into this type of a rally. So we're stoked about that opportunity, and we can't wait to write about it and talk about it on the flip side. So we'll be writing multiple different publications or articles for publications, as well as podcasts like yours, and talking everybody's ears off.
Oh no! How dare you talk our ears off?
I know.
Well, you keep asking us back on the show.
We appreciate you inviting us back on, but it's I just can't. It's hard to express the camaraderie that comes along with this stuff. That includes, at least on the winter one, the hardships that came with it. When there'd be big, like Mercedes says, everybody kind of a lot of people went into the ditch at some point, and
multiple times.
It involves vehicle recovery, winching, kinetic recoveries, all sorts of stuff. We saw a little bit of everything. We had to get winched out. I had to winch myself out because I drove through a snowbank at the Arctic Circle and got stuck. And at the same time, it was one of those, like, it was one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me, to be honest. So like we're there, and like a tour group comes in, and it's
tour group. It's like what, a Suburban?
It was
with
a Suburban with like 8 people in it, and so it's like
at the Arctic Circle.
It was like 20 below zero, maybe. I don't know how cold it was.
It was cold.
And the tour group gets out, and they're standing on the road, and I said, Mercedes says, "You want me to go ask them to move?" I said, "No, I'll just go in through this snowbank." So I put it in 4 low, and it got high centered on it. And I'm like, well, that's great.
Everybody's watching,
right? Well,
from the tour group.
That was
Andy
embarrassing.
Can't go forward or back.
So I pull the winch cable out, and I go to start winching, and I hear this guy goes, Andy? And I look up, and there's this guy who follows us on Crankshaft Culture, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I saw you come through Pelly Crossing." He's like, "Yeah, I'm on Crankshaft Culture. I follow you guys. I've got a Delica and all that stuff." I'm like, "Are you kidding?" Like,
he was a tour
at the
group.
Arctic Circle, like in the middle of nowhere, and I happened to run into somebody. Like, you got to be kidding me.
He was the tour group guide.
Yeah, this guy was guiding the group of tourists, and
it was the most awesome thing.
It was just like, how is this even possible? But anyway, we've actually maintained a friendship and go back and forth on Facebook all the time. But it's the camaraderie that these kind of events build up, and it's by the way, it's like any off-road trip or anything like that. You get this camaraderie amongst people.
Well, and with people, it's not just ralliers; it's everybody you meet on the road along the way.
Right.
So it's the local. It's just people you happen to bump into, and they see your car all stickered up with rally decals, and they don't know where you are coming from and where you're going. And then before you know it, you become longtime friends, whether it's online or in person or worldwide, because they happen to be there and see your vehicle or read a story about it. And it's just this really interesting dichotomy and mix of experiences that is just gravy on it all. It's just the icing on the cake for me, because I love traveling. We love traveling. I love experiencing new things, but it's the people. It's just, it energizes me.
It really is. I mean, like, seriously, the ability to combine all these things and then meet cool, like-minded people that also like the same things. I mean, they might be different or whatever than the things you like, but we're all doing this thing. This goes back to this thing that Mercedes and I talk about with our website, Crankshaft Culture. Like, we're united by horsepower. Like, you drive a Toyota, you drive a Jeep, we drive Mitsubishis and Subarus and whatnot. And yet at the same time, we can all sit around a campfire, or we can all do a trail, or we can all do a trip and sit there and yak and talk for hours about travel and off-roading and motorsports and competition and whatever. And it's like, we're all united by horsepower. No matter our differences, gearheads are all united by the same thing. We're all cut from the same stone. And I think that's an amazing thing.
Well, and every vehicle to us is an adventure. It doesn't matter if it's on-road, off-road, 2 wheels, 6 wheels, doesn't matter. So this kind of makes us unique, but we're just equal opportunity enthusiasts.
Yep.
We like to party.
And we even include those weird Nissan people too.
We love Nissans.
We love Nissans. Yeah, I've owned one.
I've owned one also.
Yep.
I'll never admit to it. Well, right on. So where are people going to be able to follow you for the rally? Are they going to be able to like follow you on map? Are you going to do social media updates or anything?
Yeah, so crankshaftculture.com is our website. You'll be able to follow along with us on Crankshaft Culture Crankshaft Culture on Instagram. We're Facebook. We have Crankshaft Culture Community. If you're not part of the Crankshaft Culture Community on Facebook, join it. It's a great group of just under 1,000 people at this point. And then Twitter, I'm at Crankshaft Cult.
And as far as myself, you can find me by my name, which is right down here. Mercedes Lilienthal. And then also on Twitter, I'm Writer with Grit. So we'll be posting a lot of our articles as we're going through and doing pre-process stuff. So as we're building up the vehicle, once we get receipt of it, we will be posting social stories and actual physical posts saying these are the products that we're using. What are these products? Why are we using said aftermarket upgrades? And then sharing more about the Subaru Wilderness Outback too. So, or Outback Wilderness.
Right.
And then
there has been talk. I'm not 100% sure. I think we will need to talk to the rally organizer about a tracking system this year that might allow people at home to see where all the different cars are, kind of like they do with the Rebel Rally or something. But
they had like a spot system or something last year that they had a link, or not last year, in 2020, that had a link where people could follow along and actually see where each car number was. So I don't know, if they're having that same system or what. We need to figure that out yet, but we'll post it.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to ask this. So are you guys both driving, or are you switching off driving?
That's good. That's a good question.
We'll see. I drove the entire Alcan 5000.
What? You mean you'll actually navigate?
I didn't say I'd navigate, but I didn't say I might not drive. So I drove the entire Alcan 5000 winter rally. She navigated the whole thing. I fully admit I cannot read in cars. I get immediately car sick.
My wife does that too.
Ride in cars. I could drive cars, but if I have to read while I'm moving, I'm like, anyway. So we'll see. A lot of the times, the transit, which is basically the time between the different actual time, speed, distance rallies, they can be like 400 to 700 miles. So you only have to know a couple of turns.
With nothing to see except for moose and bear.
Yeah.
So do you get to pre-map yourself out at all, like so that you can see where you're going?
No, basically the way it works is you show up the first day, they tech out your vehicle to make sure that you've got fire extinguisher, All the stuff is secured. You've got the necessary spare tire, that kind of stuff. Seat belts, the whole usual thing. And then there's a driver's meeting, and then they hand out your route book that night.
It's usually about like that thick.
Yeah,
it's 5,000 miles.
It's like that thick, spiral bound, a bunch of pages, and there's turn by turn instructions. So it'll say at like odometer reading 12, turn right on the main street. At odometer 15.2, change your average speed to 55 miles per hour, and so on and so forth. And so that'll be like the actual competition aspect of it. And then it'll say transit. Now the transit isn't timed or anything like that necessarily. You may have to be at the end by a certain time, but there's you don't have to complete it in X amount of time or have to arrive at a certain point. So you'll have a transit. But when we did the 2020 winter version, the transits can be like 400 to 700 miles. So basically you've got to get, and there might not be another TSD that night. So it's basically you would do your TSD rally in the morning, and then you have a 700-mile transit to Whitehorse, and the next rally is going to be at 9 a.m. the next day. So you just got to get to your hotel that night. So they just switch it up.
So you could GPS it out like with like I don't know, like Gaia, and plotting it out for the transit sections at least.
Yes, and you're allowed to use that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say for transit sections, you can use GPS. You can track where you're at, but with time, speed, distance rallies, each team has their own qualifications. If you're unlimited, or if you're seat of pants, if you're novice, or what equipment you can and cannot use. So by that time, when you're in competitive mode, you have to really use or not use what you are regulated to use based on your classification.
Right.
Well, that'll be cool. It'll be interesting to watch. It sounds like something that'd be fun to do too.
It is fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a good challenge too.
Mm-hmm. I have to add that onto my list as it grows longer and longer.
We're sorry.
Oh no, I'll just live vicariously through you. You know, if you ever need like an adopted third driver, you know.
You wouldn't be the first person to ask already. We had somebody that said, "Hey, I'll do whatever you need. I want to help drive. I want to do this and this." And we actually didn't know this person. He just reached out via Instagram, I think it was.
Yeah, just like
direct message.
Along. It was like,
it's always been a dream, and this, and it, but for us, I don't know. I think a third person you have to pay more, and then there's
there's more fees with it. I was
looking
at it. I was like, oh, how much does this cost? Oh.
Yeah, there were teams of 3 and 4 on the winter one. We had some real close friends of ours that were a team of 3, and they all drove at some point. Mm-hmm. And there was a team I think they were in a Volkswagen Passat all-wheel drive that I think they were 4 people.
With the teddy bear?
Yeah, I think there were 4 of them in that.
Teddy bear.
So that would be, that'd be something else to have. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, it looks like a blast. I'm excited for you guys. It'll be fun watching you build it. And see if something changes and you add some more to it. And also make sure and go sign that our petition at change.com to get Andy and Mercedes to assemble their Subaru completely.
I will file a formal complaint on that one if that goes through.
No, but we'll happily share our progress as we build it up, and what we are doing and why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm sure at least between now and the rally, you guys will probably pop on at least one more time for something.
Cool.
For sure. Love to be had.
Well, before we go ahead and close out, we just want to say thanks to everyone who listens to us weekly, and also those who watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all those places. We really appreciate you. Please share us with your friends. That's what really helps us grow, and God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren Medical Gear Outfitters and Kobe Valve to see all their great gear. We're a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a comment or question? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.net or through our social media channels by searching for Offroad Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe, and courteous. Thanks for listening.
Another good one in the books.